Welcome back. Welcome back. Powerful public service announcement, wasn't it? Our next guest is Lion Mike Peach. He is the Leo chair for 5 and 5. And we want to talk about our youth today. So, our youth happens to be one of our pillars, okay, for the International Lions Club. The youth, we're all about the youth. They are the future, and we want to make sure that they succeed. As a matter of fact, we believe they are future leaders. And, we're all about service. And this is one of the things that we do with our youth is that we teach them and we set the example for them on how to be good leaders in our community. So today, our guest will help us to really have some insight on what it means to support the Leos. And today, we welcome Mike Peach. Let's give him a hand.
Thank you.
Mike, thank you so much for being on the show today.
Thank you.
I've been trying to get you on the show for the past month, and I know it was a last minute thing, but you jumped to it as soon as the opportunity presented itself.
Sure.
And I really appreciate that. Because we really need to know how we can really support our Leos today. So, can you give us some insight on your position as a Leo chair and your responsibility in that area?
Well, basically, I am the liaison between the district Leo clubs and the Lions. I'm there to support whatever they need to do service projects or any of the other work that they do,
Okay.
both financially, physically, and with manpower.
Okay. And how long have you been a Leo? I mean, a Lions club.
Little old for a Leo. I've been with the Lions about 5 years.
Oh, okay. And so, with the Leos, is there a certain age group that one can become a Leo?
Middle school and high school, basically. Um, Old enough to be able to do service projects and things and work independently
Okay.
and things like that. So,
I saw you at the convention with the Leos. What was going on? I mean, it was so many of them, and what was happening that day at the convention?
yeah, that on that day, all the Leo clubs come together. It's a Myron convention, and all the area Lions clubs show up, and all the Leo clubs that want to come have their Friday evening get together, and they meet. They have a little meeting, do some awards presentations, get a recap of the night. Um, they have service projects that they do. They did 4 different service projects that night,
Okay.
and we've had them some pizza.
What was some of the service projects?
They made some tie blankets
Okay.
for area hospitals. They made some comfort kits for kids in the hospital. They made some seed pots for area nursing homes,
Okay.
and they sorted glasses. We collect eyeglasses, used eyeglasses, and they sorted over 100,000 pair of glasses that night.
Wow. Amazing. And they behaved themselves so well. I never seen so many children that behaved themselves so well.
Yeah, they're a good bunch of kids.
Yes, they were. Let me ask you this. For the future, is there anything that we can do to complement the Leos today as far as in service projects? What can the Lions Club, what can we do more to help them out?
As far as the individual clubs, just support your club, and you can do that in a number of different ways, financially, physically.
Mm-hmm.
Just basically give them what they need to do a service project. They do their group service projects together, but individually, each club will do 1 or 2 service projects a year.
Mm-hmm.
The Maple Grove Leos right now at this time, we're doing a coat hat and mitten drive.
Okay.
We had the director from Cross at one of our meetings, and we came out and asked him, well, what do you need? And he said, we need coats, hats, and mittens. So that's what they decided to do their service project on. And that runs till the end of January.
Okay. Are there any bylaws for the Leos or that's maybe a little different from the Lion?
No, it's patterned after the Lions Club,
Okay.
and they're basically our youth group. So what applies to us applies to them.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think they have any particular bylaws or anything that they follow.
Okay.
The main thrust of the Leos is to encourage them to do everything themselves.
Mm-hmm.
We could step in and do it for them, but then that wouldn't be our work.
Right, right.
And we want to teach them to be leaders and to be independent and how to figure out how to do things.
Okay.
And a lot of us that get involved with Lions projects realize all too well how much work is involved and what it takes to actually put something together. It just doesn't fall into place. There's a lot of work to be done and things individuals have to do to make it happen.
Okay.
And that's what we try to teach them. And they don't learn that if you do it for them.
That's right. That's right.
So we give them the tools, we give them the financial aid, we give them everything they need to get it done.
Okay.
And let them do it. And then when they're finished, it's their work.
That's right. Now, I saw that too at the convention. They really was excited and was able to explain everything that they was doing. Making the mark. That's our yearly challenge, is making the mark. How do you see the Leos making the mark this year?
Well, you mentioned Eleanor. She's the 5M5 kind of president of the Leos.
Okay.
Brings them all together. She meets with the school presidents, and they communicate and bring together what they all want to do. So they're always collaborating.
Okay.
And talking to each other and coming up with service projects, and they just continue that work.
Okay. Okay. It does any one time stick out to you as far as in your memory, as far as what the Leos has done that really touched your heart?
Like you said, it's amazing to watch them work. The big part for me is, if you look at a lot of what you see out there in the world, people think that the youth of America, there's no hope for them. They're no good. They just sit home and play video games. They don't contribute to society or, have any impact. And if you listen to a lot of that, you think, well, these kids today are
Right.
they're no good. They're not doing what they're supposed to do. You look at these kids, and like you were impressed.
Mm-hmm.
I'm continually impressed by these kids.
Mm-hmm.
And it's heartwarming and encouraging to see that there actually is a future
Right.
with our youth.
That's what I saw at the convention. It gave me hope. And that's why we have you on the show. How does one become a Leo?
It's easy if there's already a program in your school that already exists. You just contact one of them, we get you an application, and you're pretty much in. There are schools, and they all have different policies and rules. If you want to start up a Leo club, contact your school administration and then contact me, and we get it going on both ends. Because it takes a liaison in the school to run that end of it and allow the students to have a resource in school that they can go to. And then my end of it with connecting it with the Lions. But that's pretty easily done. It just registers a club with international and sets up a formal club.
Okay.
But it's pretty easy. Anybody that wants to join can. Champlin Park and Maple Grove, and I want to say one other school has a banner that they made that tells about the Leo Club. So if a student wants to join, there's a QR code on there.
Okay.
Kids with their phones click on the QR code, and it's got it goes to the Lions Club international page that says how to be a Leo.
Okay.
It's got a Lion application and a Leo application, and they just fill that out and or contact me directly, and they're in.
Okay. Now that's good to know. I wanted to ask this other question then. So if it's not at the school, can we do like libraries or park recs?
There are freestanding Leo clubs that aren't attached to a school. We don't have any in our district, but they do exist.
Okay. Are we open for that?
Sure, we would be.
Okay.
Yep.
Because I look at in building up a city, sometimes you can't catch them after school.
Right.
The library or the park rec, if it's open, and having students that represent the city as Leos is very powerful. And the library happens to be a nice spot just in case they need to do some homework.
And they're free.
And they're free. Exactly. Yes.
We use them on here in Brooklyn Park all the time for meetings and things.
Okay.
They let us go in there for free, and you can bring in food or drink. And a big draw for these kids is you feed them pizza, they'll do anything.
That's a good point.
Yep.
Okay. I know we can reach you pretty much at any time throughout the year if we need advice or resources to help our Leos out. And we want to thank you so much for all you do and the time that you spend in that particular area. We really appreciate you. Hey, well, thank you once again, Mike. All right. All right. We'll be right back after this powerful public service announcement.